what you're gonna say. I can't believe what you're alluding to, Max. Let it out. Let it out. What are you trying to say?
He is going. This is my hot take. You just calm down. He is a great, great fighter. A good big man doesn't beat a great little man. It takes something more than a good big man to do that. And Lopez is more than just good.
Punches are not made. They are born. And this guy, Lopez, was born to punch. And he's got one other thing going for him, Steven and Max. He reminds me of Pacquiao, Lopez, in a way, not just with power in either hand, but his closing step, his ability to explode. You know, kind of like an athlete in football, basketball, any of those sports where it's not about running a 40. It's about the quickness. It's about the closing step, the burst. He's got that burst. Not everybody's got that burst.
Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman debate Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez, breaking down skill, power, and overall resume.
January 31st, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. I always say it, when boxing gets it right, no other sport comes close. And this is boxing getting it right. The best fighting the best. Both fighters believe that this matchup settles the argument about who leads the new era. So what do we think of the Styles matchup, guys? This is a high-speed chess match a la Sugar Ray Leonard or Pernell Whitaker, Leonard and Benitez, or Pernell Whitaker, Buddy McGirt, or is it a Jerry versus...
Stephen A. Smith praises Teofimo Lopez's quick defense, pointing out his fast reactions and ability to slip punches in close exchanges.
Sure to show the world that at 23 years of age, I'm a champion, and you're going to have to come take this from me. I'm not giving you a damn thing. I loved his quickness. We know about Lopez's power, but I'm talking about his quickness defensively. But I saw Lopez being elusive, and I love that because it's one thing for you to have the power and the quickness to go along with the power offensively. A lot of guys can look good until they get hit. There were times where he got hit, and there were other times where
He often highlights Teofimo's history of performing on the biggest stages. Smith says Lopez is never intimidated by elite opponents.
You know that Lomachenko's footwork is exceptional. It's practically unrivaled. So you could see what he's done to numerous fighters, which contributed to them quitting, like Nicholas Walters and others. He tried that with Lopez. It didn't work. Lopez's footwork worked. His speed was there. Some power, obviously, but his elusivity is what impressed me most. The fact that he was able to slip a number, not all, but a number of those pitches.
He wouldn't let Lomachenko establish his outside foot.
And I love it.
Yeah, for me, coming into this fight, obviously I always talk to Max about fighting. I love it. I was thinking, and Lopez mentioned it pre-fight, everybody thought it was going to be very Mayweather-Canelo when they fought, and that he would be outclassed. If you look at the first 6 rounds, it was about patience. He was patient. He didn't rush himself. He used his jab, which is something that we aren't using.
Referencing his dominant victory over Vasily Lomachenko, Teddy Atlas joins the discussion, arguing that Teofimo's toughest challenge is facing one of the best pound-for-pound fighters.
Lies ahead for Lopez this upcoming weekend?
What challenge? The challenge of fighting, for me, my estimation, the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Either him or Crawford. You choose it, it doesn't matter. You could flip-flop either one of them. They're the 2 top guys. The challenge is to get his bomb to the target. Yeah, like Customato, my mentor, used to say, Teddy, having power is great. But if you don't have a means to get it to the target, it has no value. It's like a military weapon, he used to say. If you don't have a missile, it just blows up and makes a big hole in the ground. So that's the challenge. Get it to the target. Get it to the chin or the body. It might be a good idea with a guy who moves his head so much, but get it to the target with Lomachenko. So keep yourself together mentally with all that going on, with all the chaos stuff coming at you. And don't get discouraged. Don't get frustrated.
Atlas stresses that Shakur's fundamentals are elite, and pure athleticism won't be enough against a technical fighter like him. Max Kellerman repeatedly explains that Shakur doesn't just win fights, he shuts opponents down.
There's one of those guys and who comes along, and I think this is really the question about him. I said he is one of those guys. Is he one of those guys? Like Pernell, like Roy, like Floyd, their defenses were so good. And they boxed in a way where they weren't going to take unnecessary risks. They weren't running and holding. You know, I had a problem with the second half of the Haney-Norman fight because I felt like they continue to box. Purnell did, Roy did, and Shakur does now, right? But when a guy has those advantages in boxing skill and speed, and they don't take risks, they are almost impossible to beat. So no matter who Purnell was fighting, no matter who Roy was fighting, if someone would have asked me who they're going to be, they're fighting Godzilla, Purnell. They're fighting Roy. Shakur has that look to me where
his footwork, distance control, and timing allow him to control every round. Kellerman acknowledges both fighters are highly skilled, but notes that Shakur is not known as a power puncher.
Is that they're both twitchy, they're both fast, they're both excellent boxers. Teo's a puncher. I know it hasn't shown up in recent fights, but we have watched both of their careers. Shakur is not a puncher.
No.
Teo is can be an explosive, I hit you with a shot you don't see, and you are out cold type puncher.
And talking about power, strength too. I think Teo's going to be the much stronger guy in there. Shakur Stevenson's not a strong guy.
I think he's getting stronger.
Me too.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
Definitely
But in the first fight at 140, though. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disrespecting.
I feel like, but I also feel like that Shakur might surprise you, Mike, with his physical strength. Physical strength, as we all know, doesn't always translate to punching power.
Sure, of course not.
But when he was a younger fighter, he looked like he could be moved around by his opponent. It doesn't look like that anymore.
Yeah, no, he's definitely matured in his body. But first fight at 140, Teo's what? I think this is maybe his fifth fight at 140?
Yeah.
Something like that?
That's true, but Shakur has a frame where he can put on 140.
He wins with accuracy, defense, and control rather than knockouts. Max also says Shakur has more pressure on him. With an undefeated record and a technical reputation, he has more to lose. Teofimo, as the underdog, has less pressure and more to gain.
Is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy. On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before.
Real hard. Man, what do you say to that, bro? Like, you him, bro. I just can't wait to beat him and shut him up, bro. Teo not on this level. Teo is a high-level fighter, but he's not on my level. I'm an elite level fighter, and come January 31st, I'm going to show it.
You've shown respect to him for his performances in the past, what he's done. He's fought guys like Lomachenko and Taylor. You say that he's not on your level. Why do you think you're on just a different level?
Because I seen him at his best. Against Taylor, against Lomachenko, he was at his very best. That was the best he can do. I don't think he can do nothing better than that. So
self-projection.
What I seen from that fight, I feel like I'm way better than them guys. With Lomachenko, like I said, he didn't throw punches for 6 rounds. So if you ain't throw punches for 6 rounds and you get in front of me,
and you was a fan.
I would have beat Lomachenko that night easy.
Making the fight dangerous and unpredictable. Stevenson has openly said this fight is very important to him, calling it a chance to prove he belongs among the best pound-for-pound fighters in boxing. Many experts believe Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez is a tactical chess match where timing, strategy, and energy could decide the winner.